Number one thing, I want to say thank you to the universe for listening to us. 3-part docuseries. 3 parts, 50 minutes, 30 minutes. Boom. You get it all in, and it's awesome, fantastic, and we'll talk about it.
And it's not fictionalized. It's not sensationalized. You don't have a bunch of actors playing the people. I mean, we definitely will. Because the one thing that Sins of Our Mother reminded me was the absolute massive story that this is. And how many twists and turns. It is a true crime fucking cornucopia where you can see it's all the different levels. You got cults and shit. And the one thing that was my main takeaway,
a tiny cult indeed, but my God, a powerful one, huh?
Very, very. I mean, they got a lot of results, didn't they?
I guess they did.
Because did you hear? Well, to start with modern news, is that her son Colby, the one that was featured in the documentary quite often as the one who's like, "My mama crazy." He was then charged with sexual assault, but then it was dropped. It was by his estranged wife. So he also has a weird ass, like fucking something other crooked shit going on too, and he's the innocent son.
Right.
Like, he was the one that was like, "My mom, I don't know what she was doing. I don't know why she's always like this." But then, you know what I noticed, honestly, as I was watching the documentary? There's something about guys whose heads get thin at the top. Where his head
Your head kind of gets thin at the top.
Well, it's because it's...
Got a new haircut.
It's a new haircut.
Wow.
Wow. My hair woman, she said that I actually have a good shaped head to be bald. She was nice. Right? She kept it going. She said, "You got a good shaped head." But she's saying that I should try to. She said the words, "I think you still have hair. It is getting very blonde."
Oh, nice. Not bad.
See?
Well, interesting. But
he does have that head. But yeah, I do wonder if because he was fine in the documentary series because he was the one really saying like, my mom changed. He was the only person that had like a view of Lori Vallow before all of this.
Yes, of course, Kobe Ryan, I wasn't aware of these, but of course the charges were dropped, so we'll just move on from there. But he was a key point in the docuseries. He humanized the entire situation. The man had a devastating life. His family is gone, and his mother, who killed his family, doesn't seem to give a shit. It reminded me, number one, Sherry Moon Zombie. This is a role she could play.
Oh yes. Oh,
I wish. I could see it. It's like
so
Baby.
Close.
It really is. Lori Vallow is Baby in a different scenario in Arizona, getting tan-mommed. She is so psychotic. It reminds me of the preview I saw for the movie Smile, which I don't know if I need to see because the previews seem to show me every single smile I'm going to see, but
smiles.
I don't know.
Yeah, it really is. I think that'll be a fun film, but again, the horror part of it is smiling.
What if at the end somebody frowns?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Wasn't expecting that.
The way that Lori was smiling, joyous in the courtroom, on the beach in Kauai, that's part of Hawaii there, with Chad Daybell, I was like, this is, it seems like she was in the middle of a psychotic break. Well, like we have some people who have, issues, and sometimes they think they're Jesus. Yes. And I feel like she just really had an extended version of that for 3 years?
There was something, I'm jealous. Just the confidence that you are the Godhead must be so noi. Like, that's just so much fun. Like, you just get to walk around. You declare who's a zombie, who needs to be
You're a zombie.
Eliminated. You're done.
You're a zombie.
Your name's Violet now. Your name's Ned. Didn't he call her Ned? He called
Ned.
It was like
Ned,
right?
Ned or Nick Schneider. And no one knows why that was the name that was chosen.
If for those of you that don't know, so Lori Vallow, when she was married
to Charles,
when she was married to Charles, so that was also what was really good about the documentary is that it really did it step by step, so you could see all the weird twists and turns. And I forgot that the reason why she had killed him or had him killed by her brother Alex Cox was because he was no longer Charles. He was either Ned or Nick, which was the demon that was inhabiting him, right? And so what you see though is that the delusion, the one thing that Sins of Her Mother also showed was how deep the delusion was. Because my constant question when it comes to these types are, how much of a true believer actually are they? right? Like, does Lori Vallow really believe that she's the Godhead? Does Chad Daybell really believe that he can see the future, right? Did he get that he's the prophet, right?
Right.
Like, and up to a point, I think Chad Daybell is not a true believer. I think
that Lori is more of a believer than Chad, and I
Yes.
think Chad is doing the classic guy thing where it's like, I'm kind of a
whatever she
dumpy
wants.
loser. What if I write a book? Maybe I can finally have sex with that hot woman that I've always wanted to, because he kissed a woman and then immediately was like, I'll marry you. And I think
So
he lived a
fast.
very sexually restrained life.
Very much.
Who gives a flying fuck? He
Why
made
did
his
I
own
become
decisions.
a comedian? I became a comedian to even the playing field so that I could kiss a hotter woman than I was
Absolutely.
supposed to. That was the whole point. So Chad Daybell's in the right business, but Lori Vallow, because of the texts, she's like, Ned only has a few days left.
Yes.
I know that's like now is a I guess now it's at the time being like, Ned is really getting uncomfortable with his situation. We're gonna have to do something about Ned. And like the fact that she could stay in character in the text, and then what you were saying, the smug. It was like once she got into the fucking courtroom and she's smiling and
That
she's
weird
so
makeup on. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
probably jail makeup, so it's
Yes.
probably smashed up crayons and a whole series of different things applied
probably
through
whatever
tampons.
truly was probably whatever her lawyer had. Like, here,
Yeah.
you can have this. You just put this on her lips because she was like, I have to look somewhat presentable or whatever. I am God. So I
Right,
might
of course,
need to
you
look
are
good.
God.
Yeah.
And she was like, we've known some crazier people in her life, and she was like, it's hard to describe someone flowing.
Yes.
And I have to say, she was flowing in that courtroom. She was like
yes.
gracefully walking in this, again, perverted, psychotic universe that she has created. But number one thing, Ned, name for a demon. Come on. What do we have, nerdy demons? Does he have a bunch of buck teeth? And is he wearing
I
glasses?
played a
Come on
demon
now.
named Gary for many years. All right. And yes, it was supposed to be funny. It's a
Right.
funny show.
No one
But that's a
died in
problem.
real life.
Yay, no one really died. But also, yeah, true. That's the thing, is that the idea of calling someone Ned, like that's their evil name,
Right.
is really interesting.
She's talking to an angel Moroni, and then the demon is Ned.
Ned.
What is happening?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's stupid.
Isn't it? It reminds me of Groundhog's Day. Ned Ryerson.
Ryerson? Yeah, it's literally, that's who I saw
Yeah.
when she kept saying Ned, that strapping man, Charles Vallow, kept turning into Ned Ryerson. And then
Stop it.
But it is wild, like, again, I just didn't realize. So there another part that
Well, just
really
quickly
baffled. Yes, sure.
Just going back really quick to the Ned thing. The second point was, so we were talking about, is she a true believer? And perhaps she's in character, but then she also seemed to truly believe she was going to be on the will. I thought she was going to. She thought she was going to get about $1 million.
Oh, yes,
And
she
so, how do you weigh those two things when you're like, okay, so you think there's a demon living inside of him, you got to kill him, but then 2 days later, you didn't forget this demon did have life insurance?
Oh, I guess, but it's also truly Ned then is absolutely evil because he deceived her into thinking that she would ever get the money. And so afterwards, you see, we did it right because he was always a demon. But I do think that, of course.
Because Charles took her off the life insurance about 3 months before because he was like,
he
I think
knew.
she's going to kill me.
Yeah, he started to he understood. Well, I think that one big discussion. I remember when we were doing Jonestown and talking about Jim Jones, and I think the true believer cult leader aspect comes in waves and degrees. That you start in a more cynical environment. Lori Vallow found Chad Daybell through a podcast, which is again just unfortunate.
Very
Right?
unfortunate.
It's like, again, I love our listeners. I love being a podcaster and doing it, but it's very difficult. Like, the Prophet's not going to have one. I'm just sorry. Okay, the Prophet's not going to have a fucking podcast. The Prophet, he's going to be on terrestrial radio. I really do think he's going to have a contract.
I don't
think he's
know
going to have a
about
gift
that.
for gap. I don't know if I can't see him sitting with like a bunch of podcast producers, like the real Prophet, like figuring out, being like, these good shore mics, like, are we doing all this? And like, what programs are we, like, I don't think it's happening. But
Wouldn't the Prophet just be able to put the words in your brain and then you don't even have to have a podcast at all?
Whoa. I mean, that's the idea. Wouldn't you just show up? Wouldn't you just
Cut the
show up with the
middleman.
feet at the Prophet? Right, that you
Yeah, you
found
just
you've
show
been
up.
searching for years, and all of a sudden now you're at the Godhead and you can see him, and he's a fucking dumpy piece of shit. He's
I'm
just
just
some
looking at-
guy, and he's not even in. I would even say he's not even in Brooks Brothers. He's wearing like Walmart gear. Like, this is not the Prophet.